Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Just now from the proposition, unfortunately, we failed to hear much of extension. What our side felt was that all we were hearing was just a regurgitation of all the points that the opening proposition said, which is to incentivize care for the children such that the children will eventually be cared for one day. However, on our side, what we heard from them previously was that the care provided by the children for the parents should be something of an option. So I, on the closing opposition side, will be here to provide our extension on how there are other alternatives instead of that children should get, how the age can be cared for instead of having to depend on the adult children to do the job. Okay, but before that, I rebut a few points by the closing proposition, which although were very clear, there were some things that were worth rebutting. As the closing proposition mentioned, the old folks homes will split up. Then what to this we would like to ask, there are also just as there are documented cases of how old folks homes split up, fail to provide adequate care for the aged. We can also say on our side that there are also many cases of where adult children have failed to care for adequately for their parents by choosing this case to siphon the money provided for them, to use it to spend on things that they wanted on other things, or fake or forge their dead parents' accounts and using their identities to collect monies from the government for their purpose. This is one of the reasons why we feel that having an institutionalized system where adult children are paid a fixed sum of money to care for their children will not work. Because we feel that such a system would be very, very much open to abuse. It would be very open to abuse without any form of checks and balances. People can just say, here's my parents. I will tell them that they have died 2 years ago. No, thank you. I will say that they have died 2 years ago, but here it is, they are still so-called alive. Here's the father that I need to care for them. No, thank you. We also feel that one of the problems would be the fact that we end up having to pay off all 8 adult children who have to care for their parents, because as side proposition we believe that care is an optional thing. There are already many children that receive adult children in Singapore. No, thank you. We said that many adult children in Singapore that do their responsible parts in caring for their parents. They provide the adequate financial support needed to care for their parents. No, thank you. A few of them even do take their time out to visit their parents, and also sometimes bring their grandchildren along. I know because I'm a parent who does that. And as such, I feel like I also have the same, no thank you, I also feel like I have the same type of responsibility towards caring for my parents, because it is in us. So to say that we will pay all adult children to do that, we do not feel sensible on the point. We don't feel sensible because there are many adult children who have the social responsibility to do this and pay for their parents and care for them like they should do. No, thank you. Yes?
Don't you think that it's better to keep the entire family together instead of keeping the grandparents away from the grandparents for most of the time?
No, that's not your point, man. What we see, okay, we get your point, man. But as I mentioned, but we also say it's not fair to have adult children taking care of the aged, because as I move on to my next point, there are also other alternatives to have just giving adult children a direct sum to care for their parents. We have also seen that my grandparents used to live with with our family independent. They are able to take a sum of money and live on their own independently. As I mentioned just now, and in other cases we've seen, there are some elderly people who want to live independently from their children. We feel that not every elderly person wants to be, ordered along and be cared for. Hence our government has launched policies like higher retirement age. Our elderly population can work a bit to support themselves if they so desire. No, thank you. Desire to serve. And furthermore, as I mentioned just now, having a system like the proposition proposed is very easily open to abusers where the money can be taken, and that since everyone will be paid. On the point of no, thank you. That's also the problem on the government that chooses to the form of fiscal responsibility. You see, when the government spends the money on policies, the government has a responsibility to account for this, for how the money is spent by the government itself. No, thank you. In this case, what we see here is that having a policy that covers paying all adult children to care for the aged. Will lead to a lot of questions being asked by the population about how the money is spent. As we mentioned before, Singapore is a country root of pregnancy. This is a policy that our government has strongly believed in. To take out a large sum of money to pay people who have a very relaxed and laissez-faire attitude towards, no thank you, but a very relaxed and laissez-faire attitude towards taking care of their parents, just be very irresponsible of the government to do so. What outside this is that we believe that there are alternatives to pay children directly to care for their parents, because we also, as currently in Singapore, there are also some people have a pension, some people plan for their retirement, and there are also welfare schemes that do help to provide for them all. So as we have seen here, there is no need to pay the money directly to the children to care for their parents, and there are more than adequate schemes that will help the elderly. And we also see that most elderly are able to plan for their future, and they tend to work for longer periods so that they can be financially independent. Furthermore, we can see that scheme as proposed by the proposition is very infeasible, as there are aged children who can use such a scheme to forge their parents' identities and collect money for their own purposes, when in fact the money does not end up in their pocket. So as for this, I'll side back to oppose. We feel that adult children should not be paid to take care of the aged. Thank you.